So last month, my Uncle Dave, who's always been the type to believe he's only one YouTube tutorial away from greatness, showed up at our family barbecue with a look of profound determination and a plastic bag containing a single, thoroughly unimpressed goldfish. He plopped down next to me, set the fishbowl on the picnic table, and announced that he'd recently read somewhere, he wouldn't specify where, that goldfish are way smarter than we give them credit for. "I'm going to teach this one to fetch," he declared, as if this were the most logical next step after housebreaking a dog. Naturally, the rest of us were skeptical, but Uncle Dave is a man who once tried to train a cactus to ring a bell for water, so we just nodded and watched as he began his training regimen. Every afternoon, like clockwork, he'd sit by the fishbowl, toss in a bright green plastic bead, and then dangle a flake of food above the water. "Fetch, Goldie. Fetch," he'd urge, while Goldie stared at him with the dead-eyed patience of something that has long since given up on free will. After a couple days, my aunt started timing how long it took for Dave to cave and feed the fish anyway, the record, 47 seconds. A week into this, Dave became convinced the goldfish was making progress. He insisted its swimming had gotten more purposeful and that it was almost circling the bead. He even started charting Goldie's learning curve on a spreadsheet, which looked suspiciously like a record of how many times a grown man had sprinkled fish food into a bowl while chanting, "You can do it." The rest of us began to notice that Goldie's only real trick was floating hopefully every time Dave walked into the room, like Pavlov's dog but with more gills and less enthusiasm. By the end of the week, Dave called us all in for the big reveal. He dramatically tossed the bead into the bowl, and we all watched in suspense as Goldie did absolutely nothing except blink in slow aquatic resignation. Dave sighed, sprinkled more food, and Goldie perked up immediately. It was then we realized, after all those hours, the only thing Dave had really trained was himself, to be the world's most reliable fish food dispenser. Guess you could say he was the one hooked on the routine.